Welcome to Outlaw Creations. You know, the Splitfire 2265 is one of the best log splitters I've ever had. And it's probably one of the best machines out there. I actually ordered this. It took 6 months to get. It's they come from Canada, and it's a double. You can cut in two different directions, and it's really fast. And it's just a great machine. But if you watch me right here, watch when I'm on the machine cutting. I'm actually bending over, like slightly bending over, and I have such a bad back that I've always looked at this machine and wished that it was higher. Now, I've owned this machine for 6 years, like I said, and it's a great machine. But I've decided that, after 6 years of bending over, it's time to raise this thing up a little bit. I'm about 6'1", or I used to be. I'm probably shrinking a little bit as I get old, and I'm thinking of basically raising this thing up 4.5 inches. And I think that'll help me be able to split logs for longer periods of time. And there's a few spots on this log splitter that will make it pretty easy for me to make some custom brackets to raise this thing up. Let me show you. So I think on the back, it'll be really easy because you have a flange here and a flange on that side. And I can basically measure these bolt patterns and build a spacer. I'm thinking at least 5 inches higher. Let me see. But I can basically use my X-Tool metal fab and cut out some brackets. This looks like a 1/4 inch. So I'll make the brackets the same thickness and basically make some spacers for this side. On the front, it just has this pad right here. So what I think we'll do is we'll just add the same amount with a new base pad on the bottom, maybe a little bigger, to the front of this pole. And that should do it. And it should be a lot easier on my back. Okay, let's get over to the computer and see if we can't design something. Okay, here I'm gonna design. I always design my stuff in Aspire, and basically it's a Vectric software. And I'm using 24 by 24 sheet metal. It doesn't really matter how thick it is because I'm basically going to export it as an SVG file, and it creates kind of a perfect scenario for, it'll cut it out exactly like I want. So right here, we're gonna use our dimensions, and we're gonna basically 5.5 this way. We're gonna come down 3 this way. We're going to escape out of there. We're going to come back from the other side because it has kind of an angled piece on it. So this side is 4.5, enter. And then coming over this way, we're 4 3/4, so 4.75. And then this one just connects across. So that's kind of our angle right there. And that should be exactly what our bracket is. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the wood splitter into the shop. I'm going to cut this one out first. We need to find these circles first, and we also need the size of the bolt. So we're going to come over here, and we want to be 3/4, so 0.75 off the side. And then we want to be a 1/2 inch from this side, coming this way. So 0.5, enter. So you can see it will escape out of there. So that's the circle right there. Now we're going to go measure. These are 1/2 inch holes, I believe. Actually, I'm going to go double check that real quick. Okay, the holes are 3/8 of an inch. So let's see what 3/8 is. I think it's 0.375, but let's double check. Trusty calculator here. 3/8 inch, yeah, 0.375. So we're going to create some holes. Outside diameter is going to be 0.375. Now we can come over here, and if we click right there, that should be exactly where that hole is. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We'll close that. We want to be at 75 off of this side. 0.75, enter, escape. You can see kind of how easy these are to do. And then 0.5. So really, our hole should be right there. So let's go ahead and create another one right there. So that should be exactly, those two should be exactly where they're supposed to be. Obviously, you don't need this stuff. Okay, there's our first two holes. So we got the same thing down on this side. It's bottom right side down here. We got 75.75, enter, and then we got to come off the wall a half an inch. 0.5, enter. So we need this to come up right there. So there's our other one right there. Okay, erase that stuff. There's number 3. Now this other one was in an odd spot, so it actually came right off of this corner right here, a half an inch, so 0.5, enter, and that should be the circle right there. Okay, now get rid of this line. Yeah, that's it right there. Now we want to soften up these corners. So let's go up here to right here, fillet. We want to create kind of a fillet. Nothing drastic, but kind of curve these edges a little bit. Make it a little. Okay, finally. Okay, this is what I'm looking for right here. So now I'm going to group all this together. Group objects, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go up here to export as an SVG, and I should be able to, I'm going to put plate. They're all going to be the same. So what I want to do is I want to export these, and then I'll cut one out, make sure it's perfect, and then if everything looks perfect and the bolts fall through it, then I'll cut them all. Let's get started. Okay, here we are in Xtool Metal Fab, and this is what I use to basically cut steel. This is the Xtool Metal Fab. It's a laser cutting machine. It works really well. Now here's my SVG file. I'll bring that right in, and there it is. Now this is the exact size, so the trick is don't try to reshape it or anything. And I'm gonna bring it right down over here. And I'm gonna go turn on my machine and see if we can't get this cut out, and we'll test it. Okay, let's get this thing connected. It says we are, let's see. Yeah, we're ready, it's connected. Now we got gas pressure 11.5, that's good. We're gonna put this on cutting. We need 1/4 inch material. And right there, 1/4 inch carbon steel. Apply. It's kind of nice, I like that, it gives you everything you need. So we need a 1mm double layer nozzle, which we have on there. We're gonna go ahead and calibrate the sensor right now. It's capturing the image. So this shows you right where that piece is. Now, I'm going to move it over just a little bit because I don't want to waste too much steel. So we'll put it right there. And right now it's calibrating. I think because we moved it, I'm going to calibrate it one more time. And the first one failed anyway, so there's the image. Now when I do the settings on this, because it's 1/4 inch, I'm going to slow down the speed a little bit. Okay, that's good. Now we'll go over here to cut. And this is where you slow down the speed. Oh, so it's already saying 20. I'm going to slow this down to 15 and see what happens. And everything looks good. Let's process it. We'll put a overlap. No. I don't see any overlaps. Okay, so this tells me to put it on focus position 2, so I need to change that. Okay, so right now we should be good to go. We'll hit it, and I'll go over and record it in the Xtool Metal Fab, and we'll see how it does. And here we go. Now, what's interesting is, so it cut the outside of it first, and normally it's supposed to cut those inside holes before it cuts the outside, but for some reason, the way I designed it, the first two cut on the outside, and I test fit the first one, it fit perfectly, so I went ahead and cut all 4 of these. And they actually all came out perfect as far as the size and where the holes were cut. And then it was just a matter of, grinding getting them cleaned up and ready to weld. And that always takes the most time. I mean, I think cleaning and grinding the metal is probably the worst, but it is part of the procedure, and yeah, that's what I do. I start grinding. Once everything was cleaned up and ground and I could test fit it, it was time to get these things welded together. And it's really nice having the clamping a fixture table. That's been a really huge addition to the shop. It makes things just so much easier to keep everything flat and straight and square. And yeah, right here I get to welding these 2 brackets. Once I get the two back brackets done and ready to go, it's time to think about this front bracket. And it's weird, the pole on the front, it folds in so that you can tow this machine. And it wasn't removable. I wish I could have removed it somehow and put it on my bench and just extended it. But I ended up just making this piece and basically figuring out, okay, I need a 6x6 bracket. And that's pretty easy. I'll just cut a nice little 6x6 bracket on my Xtool metal fab and clean it up, and that'll be the base. Now the original base was pretty small, so I kind of wanted to have, sometimes you're setting your machine in soft sand or something, and it's nice if you have a bigger plate on the front, a little more stable. So I did a 6x6 plate. I basically curved the sides of it, put some kerfs on it, and put it on the center of here and welded it up. Okay, the night before I primered and painted these parts. I didn't want to film that. That's pretty boring and I'm a lousy painter. But yeah, I cleaned them up, primered them, painted them, and now it's time to put this thing back together. This is the exciting part of actually having this thing, 5 inches higher and hopefully be a lot easier on my back as far as when I'm out there in the woods splitting logs. And the Xtool metal fab really did a really nice job cutting these brackets. And obviously it's a CNC laser cutter and it only does as good as your drawing. But my drawing was actually turned out pretty good. In the beginning, the first bracket I cut was actually perfect, but I noticed the laser actually cut the outside before it cut the inside holes. But that was really the only issue. Normally, you obviously want it to first cut your holes or any inside stuff first before it cuts the outside, because if it cuts the outside, it just drops through. But here you can see I got the front bracket all welded on, painted, and here it is all standing in its glory. And yeah, I've raised this thing 5 inches, and there you can see the bracket. It almost looks the factory, like even the little angle of both brackets match up really nice. Wow, what a huge difference. So I raised it up about 5 inches. I'll have to check that with the tape measure, but I cut my blocks at 4.5 and then I had 1/4 inch plates, so it should be about 5 inches. But you can tell right away, 5 inches taller, it already looks like, I'm a little bit more straight up and down. This is going to be a huge help for me. So I think today what we'll do is, now that we got it all raised up and put back together, I think we'll do a little cleaning on it and then we'll go out and cut some logs. It's funny, this is the first time I've ever washed this machine. I have changed the oil in the Honda motor, and I run non-ethanol gas in it so that I usually put a gas treatment in it every year during the winter when I'm not using it. But this is really the first time I've ever washed it in 6 years. And now that I'm looking at it, just standing back and looking at this video of it, raising it up really made it a better machine. You know, the only disadvantage right now, and I can fix this, is the piece that raises the logs on the outside. It's got a hydraulic log raiser out there. It doesn't go all the way to the ground now. But for me, the size logs that I do, I'm usually lifting that thing up and I just set the logs on it. I'm not trying to scoop them up. So I don't think that'll affect me at all. And I might not even mess with it. And here it is, all cleaned up for the first time in 6 years and raised up 5 inches. I really think it looks good. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on raising it up 5 inches. And I think it's going to be a lot better on my back. I mean, it must be better because when you raise something up where you don't have to bend over that much, it's going to help you a lot. And I think it even has a better look. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I wish I could have done that front rod perfectly straight, but I couldn't get it off there, and I think it was just easier to weld this thing right onto the outside of it. Here's a before shot of it before I did any altercations, and here's the upgraded raised version. And here we go, cutting some logs with the raised log splitter. And in my case, I think it made a big difference. It's 5 inches higher than it was. It's got a bigger base plate on the front, so it's a little more stable in the front from wiggling around like it used to. And it's just doing a lot nicer job. Now the front hydraulic thing that raises up the logs does not go all the way to the ground now, but I don't think it's going to affect me. Normally I'm not even lifting this big of a log. These happen to be some that were left over that were a little bigger than normal. But most of my logs are in the 14-inch diameter, so they're really easy to lift. Let me know in the comments what you think of this altercation to the Splitfire 2265 and how your log splitter is. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I always appreciate it. Please give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe to the video, and I will see you next time. Later. There he goes, it's a working man.